Welcome to Film Bluffs, a place for free-range, non-GMO, dog water opinions. So come on in, take a seat, and let's make fun of the kid with no internet.
Welcome back, Buttholes, to another spooky episode of Scare by Scare. I'm your host, Brownie, and today we watched a movie called Daddy's Head.
Hardy.
So when he said he had a bit for this is what he's already kind of done before, but...
What a fantastic bit. No, that's wrong. You're watching Film Bluffs. I'm Marshall.
Don't touch that dial.
Joined
Wow.
by
Incorrect.
my compatriots here, Jobe and Trace. We did watch Daddy's Head, which is a weird movie. Jobe and I both thought when Trace wrote it down as his pick that he was looking for Daddy's Home, the movie.
Don't know what that movie is.
That's how they got their name. Is they were going to call it Daddy's Home, and they were calling it that the whole production. And then that Will Ferrell movie came out called Daddy's Home.
The Will Ferrell movie that came out
shit, we can't call it that now.
10 years ago.
Step Brothers.
Yeah. This was in post-production.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they've been working on it
effects.
because it got shut down for how...
Well, they
bad it
have to
is.
do a lot of AR to try to make the British people
Dance Revolution.
Were they British? They were also giving Australian.
I think, and this is going to alienate a lot of our viewers, clearly, but I think those are interchangeable.
No, that's fair. Anyways, you guys
Anybody flush a toilet?
I didn't particularly enjoy this. Kind of thought it was dumb for the most part.
Yeah. It was disappointing.
Usually I
for
come
sure.
into these if one of you two really likes the movie and I don't. I'm gonna try to kill you. I'm gonna put you down. I'm just gonna break you down.
I'm
System.
gonna kill you, boy.
But Trace
Systematically.
does it in a way where he's like, I've never seen this before, and we
Yeah,
all
so I
have the
just like to
same
see.
thoughts on the movie, and he has no conviction about this movie besides
That's true. Trace rarely comes in with a strong opinion.
I don't think I've really picked a movie that I've been like, this is it. This is my favorite. It's usually, I haven't seen this in a while and I don't remember, or I've never fucking seen this movie, so let's go in.
yeah. So
I considered choosing a movie worth fighting for.
No, Mulan would be too easy.
but yeah, not a huge fan. I get what they're trying to go for, and
Regular size fan.
because for me it felt like they were trying to do a changeling kind of thing. I don't know.
See, I thought Skinwalker at first.
Well, I figured because it's come into the woods by yourself, and then it was gonna just take his
That's
body.
true.
That's what I was kind of going with it.
That's fair.
But at the same time, and I'm like, this took way too long to get anywhere. Plus, the kid sucks. Every person in this movie kind of sucked. Not gonna lie.
Kind of lame.
The family friend guy was pretty. What was his name? Robert. Yeah, I thought he was adequate.
Besides the fact that he cheated on his wife because he was lonely in his marriage.
Is that why they got a divorce? I honestly can't really remember.
Because he was like, oh, sometimes you get lonely in a marriage, and she's just like, you need to go now. And he's like, what if we kiss?
And then she took advantage of him.
What if we kiss later?
What if we touched?
Totally
Honestly,
could've
best
hit that.
character was the dog, and they killed the dog halfway through the movie.
Yeah, poor.
I thought the dog was kind of annoying.
No, the dog was cool. Dog threw down.
You're only saying that because it barks a lot, and so does my dog, and she does suck.
I love you.
I guess the whole time I was watching, I was like, oh, that could be
Freya.
Yeah, no, but this dog,
She's been doing
this
it a
dog
lot.
was ready to throw down. It bit the shit out of the thing when it first showed up.
True.
And this house, even the dead guy, the dead dad, he made his ugly ass
Spoiler.
house with some most.
Yeah, it was not great.
They're he built this house. Okay, don't be proud about that.
Yeah, this guy was a fucking architect.
Was an
and
architect.
he did die. But who has fucking stone cement walls? They weren't even
They were going for a
trendy.
brutalist
It's not
design,
trendy, it
but it was
sucked.
kind of uggo. And the fact that
Very
you can hear
uggo.
everything that's happening in the walls is just not good. It's
because the stone echoes.
there's definitely a hole on
The echoes
that leads
echoes.
outside. Anyways,
echo.
Trace, give us a quick 2-minute rundown because that's all that this movie needs.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking I was gonna write down a synopsis of this of sorts for a bit, but then I just kind of figured doesn't really need it. So we meet Rupert No, sorry, Rupert's the name of the kid.
Isaac is the name of the kid.
Character.
Yeah.
Well, Rupert's his name. So we meet Isaac and Laura, and they're going.
He's
Rupert's the kid. Isaac's the kid. So anyway, we meet Isaac, and we find out his dad's dead. And
that's why Trace.
a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Marshall, don't cut this out so it seems less organic.
Are you gonna do the?
I already am kind of forgetting what my prompt is. So anyway, James, the dad, he had some kind of accident. He's got bandages all over his body, and he is dying. And they're like, "Let's pull the plug." So Laura is the stepmom. She, Isaac's mom has been dead for some time. I don't know if it tells us. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention when it talked about the mom, but she's buried out in the garden somewhere. So Laura is the stepmom, and Isaac does not like her. He just cannot connect with her. He can't deal with it. And so now because James was an only child and his birth mother was also an only child, he has no next of kin. So the only person who can take care of him is his stepmother, Laura. Otherwise, he goes into the system. So Laura's all like, I can't take care of kids. And Isaac's sitting there playing his video game all like, oh yeah, he sucks.
That's accurate. That is accurate.
That is the energy the kid gives his stepmom through 90% of the film.
I'm gonna say a poo on you that Trace is allowed to say. I'm not allowed to say.
But I'm saying it in a different context.
Get cut out.
I'm saying it's a cultural thing. You can say,
well, you know what else is a
good store. I love that place.
Anyways.
You get those big cheese ball buckets.
Anyways, this kid's an ass. Says his mom can't cook.
Yeah. So his dad's dead, and he goes into the woods, and there's this creature there, and I'm not really quite sure how I would describe it, me, Trace, personally. So I'm gonna ask Jobe. Jobe, how would you describe this monster?
His dad's head.
Okay, that's good.
I thought you were
That's
gonna do
good.
I'm an actual forest demon from the forest.
I mean, I did think that too. I'll be honest.
That one sucks. So there's this crazy
so he just, like,
lights.
in a trash bag suit, wearing a mask.
I don't know. He's very sleek. So basically, the creature is just if you had a morph suit with a white mask on, which I did do for like 8 years in a row for Halloween. So I just crawl around on all floors. No, it was funny because you can't see me in the dark because I'm all in a black morph suit.
You're like the opposite of Zack Attack.
No. But probably. So anyway, first night, there's some smoke in the air. Laura's like, there's a fire. The firemen can't see anything. Then there's like some flashing lights going on throughout a couple of nights. Then we see this disgusting looking creature hurtled over, and it's trying to mimic the voice of Isaac's dad. Eventually, he wins Isaac over and is like, hey, I'm your dad. And Isaac's like, it's my dad. And everybody else is like, hey, your dad's dead. And he just isn't believing it. And he's like, no, I'll get them to believe you or I'll kill them trying. And then the dog runs out trying to defend the honor of the boy and dies a heroic death. And it goes into this really creepy ass looking hut that I guess James drew for his architectural firm. And then the creature saw it and went, that's neat. Even Robert, the friend of James, goes, that's pretty cool, even though it sucks. So Isaac finds it. He's fucking around with it. We get towards the end of the film where he brings Robert out to the structure. Robert gets his shit rocked by the monster almost immediately. Isaac returns home and the creature is about to attack him. This whole time, Isaac and Laura have been like, I fucking hate you. We don't get along. Laura's about to fucking dip, and she's about to tell the kid that when she sees the creature just kind of like over the kid, and she goes, fuck, and he turns around and goes, and he skitters across the floor and then bangs into the thing. She breaks down the door. She gets in there. She stabs the creature a couple of times after it freaks Isaac out enough, and then it later on dies. We do a time jump to like 5 to 8 years in the future. Older Isaac is grown up now. He goes back to the little hut that they have, sees a weird skeleton with like a skull that's just kind of elongated and flat, where his face is kind of able to shift and whatnot. And then he goes back into his house and finally calls Laura mom.
Well, I don't think
it seems
like
her.
At that point they've been calling each other like mom for a while.
No, that was what he decided. He's like, all right, I could definitely, after 8 years, the body is finally decomposed.
Honestly,
And
mom.
I will say, She didn't age a day.
Yeah,
She did not.
didn't.
She
The kid
aged well.
like 8 years, and she looks the exact same from when she stabbed him.
I'll say it. Julia Brown is kind of cute.
Here's the thing. For me, like, I'm watching this movie, and I'm
No, I
like,
get it. You're
I
married.
can see how she's
That makes
attractive,
sense.
but, like, the character is such a piece of shit that
Yes,
it's just
she's
throwing me for a loop.
the personality sucks.
Why is she a piece of shit?
Well, first, so
Just the way
she's
she
supposed to be
acts.
like watching a kid, and kind of like one of the big things is, hey, maybe don't pass out drunk around them all the time,
Yeah.
right? So what does she decide to do? Pass out drunk around him all the time.
is that
yeah,
what
like-
was happening?
Like she's grieving, but at the same time, like you have to be responsible.
I mean, she
enough.
does say like one time to Robert, like, I married James for James. I never wanted to be a fucking parent. You know, I didn't ask for this.
Oh, I didn't marry James for the kid,
And then the kid is not being helpful. He's just sitting in his room playing video games and just screaming that, look, my dad's alive. And they're like, no, he's actually dead.
You're fucking stupid.
What?
I will give the stepmom Laura credit though, because like the dad gives him a video game, which we don't see as like a, oh my god, he's invested in video games. We do see like his walls are lined with art, and his stepmom Laura gives him present for, you know, colored pencils and, you know, to do sketches. And he's just like, oh my god, Dad, thanks for the Game Boy. And then she goes, and here's something I know you're interested in. And he goes, thanks, fuck you. And they just
Okay. But also, like, you see that kid's room, and that's the room of like 95% of like small children in horror movies, you know? Like, oh, you walk into their room and you see the monster that's like, it's like written on their walls or whatever, and you're like, that's a little freaky.
I wonder where that's going to go
Jobe.
into playing.
Thoughts?
What video game do y'all think he was playing?
He was playing some
It tells
sci-fi shooter thing.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was
Robert
called, but
did
it
the
does tell
whole
us.
like stepdad thing. So, kid, what you playing? Is that this game? They're like, yeah,
That's Pistol, isn't it?
whatever. it is.
Okay,
I
well,
don't know. It
yeah, I could've-
sounded. I got the Mario Kart vibe from it based on the sound
No,
effect.
it was a shoot 'em
It was a
up.
shooter.
I looked up
You
Daddy's Head
shoot
video game.
things all the time in Mario Kart.
I probably could have done a better job looking this up, but it does say Daddy's Head is a 2024 horror film, not a video game.
The one thing I did think was kind of fun was the creature got the face of their father or his father
Mhm.
from the picture, and in the picture he was
Yes.
smiling, so that's why the creature was always
He's just always
smiling whenever you see him, unless he's in dog head form.
Which, yeah, so that was the part that kind of gave me Skinwalker vibes, like, because they just kind of can change into like a bunch of different creatures. But I read a lot about it, theories that it's an alien, because he's talking to Isaac, like saying, "I'm not supposed to be here," and like the flashing lights and the smoke was like
No,
his
that's
spaceship
what
crashing.
I thought it was an alien, because they had the ship crash and then the lights,
Yeah.
and so he was gonna like, I don't know, fix it or something. Like I said
Like, boy, I
earlier
need you
about
to
like
fix my ship.
the changeling thing, I think it was just a take on the folk tale of it, rather than like this is what it is. It's just like, what if changelings were actually aliens because they could morph their face and have kids come out? But for sure he's like not from this world. But also I didn't like the ending where it's like, hey, they fought off the monster in like a 2-second sequence. It wasn't
Yes.
very like dramatic, and then it's just like hard cut, by the way, it's dead in the woods. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny when something is presented as this supernatural entity, but is in fact like not any stronger than.
Yeah, he's this horrible creature, but he's also like a bitch. Like
Yeah.
he just gets stabbed. He's like, ah.
Yeah, no. He also like the kid's holding the knife at the thing and then just walks at it, and I don't know, Jamie Lee
They
Curtis
don't have
is
knives on
Australian
his planet.
twin, hits the fucking stanky light, turns around and just shanks it like 40 times. I'm like, you didn't see the knife? You know the knife hurts things. But this knife
No,
was
I
a
get it.
huge contention throughout the whole movie because she kept thinking that Isaac's the one who
The kid
stabbed
killed
her
the
dog.
Yeah, which is crazy,
It's
but
just
like I
what
get
it
it.
is.
But like, no, I just didn't like how it was like, oh, it's not dead, but it just dies later on from its wounds. And you're like, nothing
Yeah, I mean,
happened
like-
in between that was noteworthy for the movie.
Right. Like it got stabbed and it fucking took off. It zoomed out of the room. That's like, okay, it's got some energy. Yeah, probably adrenaline. But yeah, like why are they looking back on it so late? Like, is he just going in there like as a in memoriam kind of thing?
I wonder if it's
like,
just
has
like
he
a
been visiting
closure
this
kind
for
of
a
thing,
while?
you know, just to like make sure
Yeah,
that
it just would seem weird that they were like, hey, let's go tomorrow morning, make sure it's dead.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Because as far as I can tell, they're in the same house.
They moved because they like at the end they're in an apartment or somewhere. Yeah, go on.
Could be.
So, what did the thing want though? TV.
The one theory I saw online was it wanted Isaac. Well, the first thing was it wanted to kill the dog so that like it didn't have an alert because like the dog was able to sense where the thing
That
was.
makes sense.
Then it wanted to kill
degree.
Robert because that was like another adult who was like on the fence about everything and like investigating, saw it, and then he wanted to take over Isaac's body so he could like, be Isaac and fix the ship because like when you see the skeleton, it's a small-ish skeleton. It's not like a huge person, like kid size. So like if he's like, oh, take Isaac's place and then like get materials to fix the ship. Because he wasn't like eating the people or the dogs. He was just like kicking the shit out of them so that they couldn't like stop him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know.
We really don't
like,
get
Robert.
We don't get a lot of motivation for the monster or alien deal. We don't really get a lot of scene time with it. We just get a lot of random ass. Here's a shot of some freaky ass trees, and here's some shots of freaky ass trees. That's the shit I was trying to talk to you about. It's like there's all these like horror movies that try to be artsy and like here's some like deep establishing shots, but it's just like pictures of trees with a gray filter on it, and you're like, it's not scary. It's not even suspenseful. Like when the scene with the monster and he's like cuddling with the kid and the mom's like outside, that was like a suspenseful scene because she's gonna open it, she's gonna see it there, but what are we gonna see because we only see like a little bit of the thing. That's like a suspenseful scene. But when it's just like, hey, like there's some trees, trees again.
I mean, like I will say I did like the parts with the creature in it because while there's not a whole lot of design to it, I thought it was a creepy concept, and like the way it moved was it was unsettling. So I was like, I would like to see more of it, and that would have been better.
It wasn't like a
uncanny valley for sure.
It wasn't like a stupid like it's not like an animalistic thing. It was definitely thinking. It's like it knew that the mom had a camera that was watching the kid, and it's like, oh, they're gonna lie to you because like that's an easy way to get the kid to trust you, and just like other ways of trying to get this kid to trust them, and which I thought was good, but also I don't know how I would know that unless it was like hanging out in the vents, which is what I imagined it was doing.
It's just chilling in there.
Because she hears it like moving across the ceiling and shit,
Yeah.
Unless they're like raccoons or whatever.
Just completely
unrelated.
Did you guys ever see that movie? I think it was just called The Boy.
Oh yeah.
It's in a horror movie because I've only watched like
it's like isn't that the one where like the kid is like porcelain white?
No, it's literally a porcelain doll.
Yeah.
She's like,
I know what you're talking about.
The caretaker's like, I think somebody must be moving this doll about the house, but it's my job to watch him. And then they do.
I'm not in it.
And then, spoiler alert for The Boy.
No. Just kidding, I've seen it.
Spoiler alert for The Boy. The ending twist is that the boy was actually a grown-ass man living in the walls.
Like Cobweb.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, except instead of having any supernatural powers, he just wore a porcelain mask, I believe.
Kind of silly. Isn't there like a H.P. Lovecraft story where like this family got cursed and they're like, oh, how does this person keep cursing us? And like one person in their family dies every same year at the same time. And they're like, it's a wizard, how is he doing this? And turns out he's just like running in there and like stabbing them and then leaving. He has no like
that's good
magic power.
I think I remember hearing about that.
If human life wasn't so precious, that would be a really funny prank.
I mean, what if instead of killing them, you just like
chop off a toe?
Give him like a random tattoo.
Give him a smooch.
No, because a tattoo would wake you up.
So here's the thing also.
Unless you drug them.
Back to the movie.
And that's unethical.
Yes.
When the monster isn't on screen, there's not a lot happening besides the kid being an asshole and the mom bitching about the kid being an asshole. And then Robert bitching about how he's divorced and that kid is going through some things. It's just like, can we get over it? Like, not to be a dick, but like.
I thought one scene was kind of funny though.
What's that?
It's when Isaac takes Robert out in the woods to look at his cows, and then he's like, "Go on in, Robert," and Robert's like,
right. We can go in together.
He's like,
We're going on an
what do you say
adventure."
you and me both go in there? He's like, no.
That will be fun.
No,
We should
that scene's
go
also so
in
weird
it.
too because they're like walking the woods and Robert's like, "Hey, we should head back now. It's about to get dark." And then
He's like, "Yeah,
Isaac's
you're
like,
right. So
"No, I know where we're going. Let's go this way though." And then like from how like dark it got, it was either like just about to
Yeah.
be dark and they were like 5 minutes away, but like it seemed like they walked for a long fucking time.
No, it was just the sun was here and then suddenly it just went thump.
It
Out
can
of the
get dark
sky.
pretty fast if you're in the woods.
Yeah, but
I
like
guess.
how it seems like they were both like some shots made it seem like the thing was a lot closer, and then sometimes
there
it
was a
seemed
light
like a
switch.
lot farther
Yeah.
away.
Because like
But-
there's times he goes and it's like daylight and they're like, all right, so you can get there in a day amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, and then he's just like, "Let's go over here. My dad built this," and he's like, "Wow, I'm gonna sit here and be respectful, but also, what if I like fuck your stepmom? Would you be like all right about that?"
Now, the funny part of that scene is when
I don't
so Isaac's like, go in, Robert, and Robert goes, no, and then Isaac's like, I hate you. I hate you. Robert's like, what did I do?
Yeah, he's just like, I didn't do nothing. And he's just like,
Oh,
yeah,
there's
Okay.
nothing.
So you know how horror
And then he
movies always
dies.
have those scenes where it's the kid does something weird, they're like staring at a wall
Yeah.
or they're pointing. The kid does the weird thing where he's like pointing at his dad in the bushes. He's like, "Dad, I knew you were alive," but like he's not like possessed or anything. He just decided to go like,
Yeah.
Dad, it's you."
Daddy.
For those of you who are just listening, Marshall and Trace are fucking.
That's what he doesn't.
No,
he
we're
doesn't
not.
point like one finger. He does like a 3-finger,
Like a normal person.
like rawr point. You know what?
They're throwing up gang signs.
And
That's
then
how
you just
the
see
alien
like
knew he was cool.
the dad's head, just like, "Hey, what's up, boy?" And then the Bella shows up.
Or my son.
boy.
Bella's like sprinting, the dog Bella, and fucking
Not
Isaac
the
says, "Get
person
down,
from
Mr.
Twilight."
President," and like tackles Bella.
He Robert finds Bella in the night and is like, Bella, what you doing, loca?
Okay, the other
That
scene I
one's for
thought
you,
was kind of
Madison.
dumb. It's like there's a moment where the mom takes Isaac into the woods, like, let's go fucking searching for this little freaky thing or whatever. And then they don't bring anything to defend themselves with, right? So they have nothing. They have
That's my dog.
gumption and their wits about them. No wits are seen.
That's all you need.
Because Isaac's like, "Look, we go in the house, in the little tent shack thing or whatever it is." Mom's like, "Don't go in there. We're leaving." And then he punches her in the fucking face.
Which, if I could hop in real quick,
Yeah, go for it.
I also thought
Absolutely.
it was funny how maybe it was because I was watching it on my phone,
No.
so the screen was small.
This
But she's
fucker.
lying on the couch, like, look what he
Alright,
did
no.
to me. Her face is just
Yeah, you can really
fine.
see. It was like slightly darker, but like where she was pointing was where like the shadow was from like the light source. So you're like, "Dude, you look fine." But
You don't get it. He hit me.
You
It's
get it.
right here. I'm bruised.
no, but also when they're like, so like she's grabbing him by the arm, trying to pull him away, and then he like swings, clocks her, and then she just like grabs him by the shoulders right afterwards, and
Stop.
which like like when you pick up like a cat and you grab 'em by like the scruff of their neck and they just like go
Yeah.
limp. That's exactly how it happened with this Isaac kid. So British people can just be neutralized. You grab 'em by the shoulders, they just like
Which
I
is
feel like
weird
it
that we
fixed
didn't win the
Marshall.
Revolutionary
we
War.
absolutely
sooner.
did.
I feel like if
Let
we
me
picked
finish.
Marshall up by the scruff of his neck, he'd also be like,
I have scruff. I'm just all
Yeah. Well, you got a little scruff.
he actually doesn't have a neck. now
That's
that I
true.
think
I've
about
never
it.
seen him. I've never seen him neck.
When they say neck to neck, that means Marshall's not in the race.
It's true.
yeah. Nah, like I feel like this movie had a good idea, but like it wasn't meeting itself at its own level. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It let itself
It
down.
really
That's
did.
I
the
mean,
worst
it
part.
it really did. I feel like they could have done well. I mean, the actors were good actors for what was written for them.
I think it could have been better if the freaky ass monster was able to like fully morph its whole body, and then while I could see like the stepmom is dealing with her grief, especially in the moments where she's like, "Oh, I want like just James. Yeah, I want my husband back." He shows up, and while she's drunk, and she starts integrating him, and they have
Yeah.
a whole thing, and then maybe Robert shows up, and he's like, "No, he's like dead actually." Then they start beefing,
And then
some
he like
more.
snaps Robert's neck, but it's like all the way around like 180.
Yeah, but like you see what I'm saying? Like I feel like they could have done more besides just like because
Yeah.
we see the monster, it runs through the house, gets chased out by the dog. and then it like shows up in the kid's room. It's like, come to the forest, and then it just dips, and then it shows up in the kid's room again. And it's like, hey, your mom and Robert suck. Come to the forest.
It's true.
I got the dog in here with me. What's up, Danger? And then
I got that dog.
but also
with me.
the kid's so stupid because he's like, no, look, he's got the dog with him. Dude, you saw the dog die.
I will say one part I thought was funny, which is also when Robert was in the forest with Isaac, is when he like sees the creature in the little hut and he like shines his flashlight. First of all, he's not shining it very efficiently. He's shining it like at the ground just below where the creature is. And then after like 30 minutes, then shines it just a hair up. And then you just see the creature like all stands up on its knees, but like doing that. And it just looks really stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
and he's like, fuck. And then like you don't even see the creature kick the shit out of the guy, right? That's the worst part.
it's
It's a
like,
cutaway to trees and and then Isaac's just like, must have tripped.
Nar, he tripped. Nar.
And then the monster's like right next to Isaac going, yeah, I saw him. He fell.
Monster's like, ooh, it's a bad time to be that guy.
He tripped on a branch from my house.
No, but like
You gotta be careful walking through.
We mentioned earlier that Isaac kind of sucks, but also and how he was dogging on his stepmom. But the social worker asked Isaac, "Hey, you want your stepmom to make you something?" He goes, "She can't cook," and you're like,
She can't even cook nothing.
He's like, "Oh, I bet she can make a sandwich. Bet she'd fuck it up too."
Chicago.
I'm like, this kid is actually an asshole.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm disowning that child.
I mean, like, I don't know. You ever just like try to integrate somebody who's not part of your family into the family? But,
He has
you
no
don't
family.
accept them.
She's all
Right.
she's got.
Well, yeah, but he did when she first joined the group, and it's like, hey, how's it going, kid? I'm here to replace your mom, and I didn't want you to begin with, so take your coloring book and get the fuck out of here.
So, for those who don't know Trace personally, his dad actually split himself down the middle and became two Trace's dads.
Yeah.
But we threw a wig on and like one day was like, hello, Trace. Off your set."
And then I like ran to my room, slammed the door, and I jumped face first out of my mattress.
Kick your feet up.
No one understands me.
See, the other
My
thing
dad's too.
I think they could have done more with is like, I don't know.
Oh, that's why your dad's only 4 inches tall
Having,
now, by the way, because he
split
kept
the other way.
losing his doubles, but every time he splits in half,
Every time he dies, he multiplies.
Like they could have had the stepmom and the son start beefing more rather than just like passively aggressive beef. Except for the one instance where he did punch her in the face.
They should have just duked it out.
She would have gotten her ass kicked, dog.
Probably. She's drunk the whole time.
Yeah, you know who else was drunk?
You.
Not me.
Jackie Chan in The Drunken Master.
I don't think he was. I think he was just pretending to drink.
He was definitely drunk.
Nah, I would. Okay.
He got so
I
drunk he spoke English.
I don't know. I don't know Jackie Chan's life. I don't know how it goes. But if you're in a movie where your character is constantly drunk, I'm absolutely drinking the whole time while filming.
That sounds awful because he's also doing multiple takes of intense martial arts.
Yeah, and that's how he is the best martial artist on the planet.
You know,
he probably drank water.
You know what else is another beverage that you can drink?
Don't call it sham.
A trusty pouch-shaped Capri Sun.
Woo!
What a segue.
Yeah. And then it's in transition, Marshall.
Thank you.
Let's go.
We'll catch you on the flip side of this Capri Sun break. All right. I don't have a Capri Sun. I just got a Coke. Welcome back from that Capri Sun break. We hope that you were able to secure some sort of juice, some sort of fun beverage to enjoy with us while we partake in our own drink.
Brought to you by Buc-ee's.
So Daddy's Head kind of felt like it was one of those movies that was trying to be really deep, really
when he says it,
you know, just conscious of people's feelings and understanding the human condition and yada yada yada. But like I didn't get that to me. Something I was comparing this to when I was personally watching this. I know, Jobe, you mentioned earlier, Cobweb was one of the ones that we've done recently for scary movies that gave the same mouthfeel. The one for me was No One Will Save You. Do you remember that alien one where there wasn't a lot of talking?
Yeah,
feels like so long ago.
It does feel like so long ago, but it kind of felt like it's same there's like an alien or a monster or something.
Yeah.
But in No One Will Save You, there's kind of a whole thing about isolation and whatever, isolation, people hating on you, the way they use the language of no one like talking to the movie to show that like she's alone, she doesn't talk to anybody, like yada, yada. Versus this one, there's just like, I wonder if it was supposed to be a thing about dealing with grief or but to me it kind of seemed like, hey, there's a story where they're dealing with grief. On the other side, there's a monster. There was no like, the only interplay is the person who died has the face with the monster. Like that's the only connection.
Yeah, I think that's like, Trace, if you want to talk, I'm gonna go on a whole wank in a bit about movies like Babadook.
Well, I was actually going to bring up Babadook as well, because I thought it would be better if it took a Babadook route where it feeds so much off the child's grief and memory of his father that when he finally accepts, Laura as his mom and moves on, that's when the creature dies, and it's, showing that his mom is willing to sacrifice herself for him, that he kind of goes, oh, she does love me, and maybe I should make an effort too, and then as the monster's attacking, it just kind of like fades away. And it's gone because he's no longer, feeling that grief on it. I thought that'd be at least a better take than what we got.
I think one issue I have with the movie is that the kid is too old.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I don't know, at least like middle school aged, right? Like
he seems like he's like 12-ish. I don't know how that works over in the UK, but
yeah, but you think at 12,
it's hard to tell until they have their first cigarette, I feel like.
As a middle schooler at 12 years old, you're not going to be like fully like emotionally stable, but like you'd be emotionally stable enough to understand like, hey, this is my dad is dead and my mom is dead.
My dad's dead.
Right? Like, and so the kid like acts like such an ass the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, my house burnt down when I was 12.
God.
I wasn't this big of a bitch.
Gosh, here goes Trace.
I'm just saying. I lost something important to me too. I had a fish in that house.
Dignity.
No, I never had
safe though, right? Because
my dad, my dad brought it out of the house and was like, "Okay, I got it. It's right here." He put it on the deck. The bowl cracked and it dissolved because the water had boiled it so much that it just like completely disintegrated the fish. And I was like,
"My fish is dead.
My fish is dead." His name was Dad.
Trace holding up his dead fish juice.
Trace, Jobe, what was your tangent that you're going to go on?
So, yeah, kind of on the subject of grief. So, like Babadook and also Hereditary, if you can cast your mind back to that. Actually, Marshall, I don't think you watched
I wasn't Hereditary. My first one was FNAF, I believe.
FNAFu.
FNAFu.
Yeah. But anyway, Hereditary also has a lot of dealing with loss and grief. And I think what makes those work is part of the terror is like, it kind of feels like if there isn't a supernatural entity, somebody's going to kill somebody regardless, because that's how emotionally distraught everybody is. Whereas I feel like if there wasn't a monster in this, would have just been an awkward 7 to 8 years, and then the kid would move out, and that's that. So I feel like I don't know. Their relationship wasn't deep enough to really, I feel like, explore that sort of subject through the lens of a monster.
I also feel like the monster just didn't have like stage presence outside of when we see him, Like it seemed like there would be a scene with the monster and then people would be kind of like, the stepmom would be freaked out, but like it wouldn't like affect what she does. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like she's still getting drunk watching home movies.
Her day is still the same, which again, maybe it's like a thing for grief that you can't get over some things, you just back into your fucking habits or whatever. But the fact that like, if it wasn't like you could tell like this is monster moment really quick, I wasn't like thinking about the monster at all, Or like you're like, oh, there's a noise. That's probably the monster because it's one of like the 3 things that happens, and I can see the boy and the mom, and the dog's already dead. So it has to be the monster.
The dog's dead.
I only really thought about the monster because it was a thing of like, I can't wait till he comes back because then something interesting might happen.
You watch like a I don't know, Friday the 13th or Halloween, right? Like
Freaky Friday,
the villains in that, your Freddy Krueger, your Mike Myers, they've got a presence throughout the whole movie. Versus, I mean, if we think of just like a regular, I don't know, like a monster, not necessarily like a dude. What's a monster movie that we watched? Jobe would be one, right? She was like
-1.
consistently like, because the cobweb lady, like after she's unhoused, right? She's freaky. She's around, right? Out when she's let her out of the fucking walls.
Freaky.
But like,
which like at least this thing's like not obviously not of this world, so like I don't have to put a whole lot of thought into him crawling around on the ceilings and shit, rather than some little girl who has really long arms.
Bro, homeboy,
no, he's
scampers.
Like, he's all around the house in 80 days.
But consider one of them has Homelander
security.
I don't know why, but I just like for some reason thought he like drop kicked her when he closed the door, when he just like shut the door on her face,
like,
and then she took that really hard to the fucking noggin. Apparently.
Yeah, like when I had to go back and re-look at it because I thought it was like the beats were she screams, he chases, she closes the door, he hits the door, suddenly she's on the ground.
I thought that too, and then she's like,
I was like, what the fuck? What happened to you?
I'm like, you hit your head.
The door slams. He hits his head on there, and she, in retaliation, smacks her head on the thing and then knocks herself out.
I like how like there's like she's like sitting on the ground. I'm like, so what happened? The monster just like spin around the room and get tired. It was like, all right, I gotta chill out for a sec. You stay there in the middle.
It was just, and then he went off into the corner again afterwards. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like,
the door's closed, and she's freaked out.
Really was just a dog this whole time.
It's like when you go into like the kitchen at night, you flip on the switch, and the cockroaches all scatter. It's like that. They're like running away from the light.
Got a lot of cockroaches.
That doesn't happen to me much.
In Texas, there are.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. When we lived in Texas, there was cockroaches like damn near every day.
Yeah, but they were pretty exclusive to the bathroom.
They were.
And for the record, for everyone listening, we live next to a pond.
Yeah.
We got roaches that just came in, chilled out, and left. We didn't have a fucking infestation.
No, not really. There was a couple in Tori's room that I had to go kill, but this was all pretty much the fault of, and I'm just gonna say it because fuck them. Fuck you guys. You guys have shitty business and shitty houses. There's a Facebook group. Everybody go find it, like it, and join in on the lawsuit.
Cockroaches.
Please note that the opinions of the individual host does not represent the views nor the opinions of Frog Quarterback.
But yeah, did you like living there, Jobe?
No.
Exactly. 2 out of 3.
But I'm not about to get a defamation suit all up in this mother.
Nah, they can't afford it.
It could be.
They can afford it a lot easier than we can.
Nah.
I'll get my best people on it.
My personal opinion of
Until we get that Capri Sun
the Capri Sun money.
deal.
It's only defamation if I don't have anything to back it up. If I have shit to back it up, it's just straight
say
fact.
That's slander.
Nope.
But I don't know.
Slander this, you know what?
Like I said, I feel like this movie could have been a lot more, but it just wasn't. And it was just lame. Right? The only interesting parts are when the monster shows up and he barely is on screen. He shows up on occasion.
The daddy is the most exciting part of the movie.
And it's just like,
yeah.
I'm just watching this movie and I'm like, okay, she's gonna yell at the kid. He's gonna just like sit in the corner. And
Harumph.
I always think it's weird when movies do like introducing for his like debut or whatever. Like this one, like introducing Rupert, and I'm like, okay, the kid that just like sat and played video games and screamed the whole time.
Can we do that? Can we do that when you have a kid?
Yeah,
Marshall.
Introducing
Jungle Jim.
Jungle Jim coming in from the top rope.
JJ.
Marshall, are you gonna train the child to scream "He hates us" whenever we come over?
He's gonna think for the first 8 years of his life that that's our names.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
And then he runs up and gives me a hug, and I'm like, ah.
That's how we say hello.
Get out of here. Well, how do you guys say goodbye?
I'm gonna say, hey, when you see Trace, the one who looks like a Keebler elf, run up to him and take out his ACL.
Keebler elf, his ears are too small for that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
With me and Trace's ears together, you have one average sized ear.
We fuse. Only thing that changes is ear.
My ears are the only appropriately sized part of my face.
I got a $50.
Everyone has like the top of their ears like curl over. Mine doesn't. They just elongate. because of my ancestry as an elf, they're supposed to be a lot pointier.
That's
Hey, if you got an ear, this
very
is
true.
the fucking episode for you, apparently.
Yeah. Here's
I
our
don't know
ear
what we call this
ASMR.
episode.
Did you guys have anything else about this movie? Because I got like...
This is what my head looks like without headphones.
Nothing.
Right, it's fine. I can vamp.
No, you don't need to vamp. I'm just asking if you sincerely have anything about the movie that we haven't touched on.
So I will say that lately I've been trying to eat better. So I was having an orange the other day, and I was thinking the entire time of how I would feel if it was dehydrated.
Anyways,
and I just wasn't. I'm still not sure about it. So I'm
okay,
still kind of. I don't know how to though.
Only positives I can say
can
though.
I get a vacuum and like?
We did have a lot of negatives. The positive I can say though is the creature is sufficiently freaky, which is like a big plus for this movie. Because if it wasn't without the creature, it'd be like, wait, if there was like a really shitty creature design,
Yeah.
like
honestly, you could skip the first half of this movie almost
pretty much.
entirely.
Yeah, like
it's like an hour of us going, "Hey, your dad's dead,"
it's like,
and he's
I
like,
don't know.
"Ah."
It's like worse Babadook, if that makes sense.
Yes, I would agree. I mean, it's pretty much other than both his parents are dead and he has a stepmom. I mean, the dad dies.
Yeah,
and then now there's a scary monster because
isn't here the Babadook's still in the basement, and then this alien thing's dead. So like, not the same.
Yeah, they keep him as a pet. And he
why,
just sits under the house.
Dude, imagine if there was just a scene at the end instead of the thing's dead, he's just got it chained up in the forest. Has the dog's head just running around. Okay, but when it's like got the dog's head and it's got his arms like walking, I was like, that's like that gave me the.
It was a little creepy.
I said, but like, yeah, if you had the story beats of Babadook, but with this creature,
to change your face,
I think it'd be a better movie. But you trade out that kid with this kid because this kid's a lot better than that kid on Babadook.
Yeah, Babadook kid sucks.
That's the point.
Yeah, but this kid sucks, but not as annoying suck.
Wrong.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. Jobe's won me over. And this one doesn't even say his own name, like Babadook, Duke.
Babadook.
But when yeah,
it's way freakier though. He had a presence.
Yeah, he had a presence.
Yeah, Baba Booey.
Like, this guy was just like, when he was like standing stuff in the kid's room the first time, I was a little freaked out because I was getting my EBGBs on, and then you see him and you're like, okay, this kid sucks. But like, here's my thing: they show him as like just being an actual creature, not like a supernatural entity. But like, how did he get in there and get out without making like a noise? Did he crawl? Oh, it was
air vent.
No, because the air vent was on the ground and it was closed.
Window.
Was it the window? Because that was like broken before. But I thought they had
it was
fixed
either
that.
the window or is the air vent, and he unscrewed the screws and then screwed them back in when he got in there.
Because he like disappears instantly. Like the kid like.
So he just texted Isaac and was like, "Yo, you up?"
I also thought they were trying to do like a thing was like, oh, it's in Isaac's dreams because they kept having the shots of Isaac's eyes like moving in REM. But like,
yeah, that might have been what they wanted to do.
And then halfway through the production, they went, "I want this to be a real monster."
But it's a real monster.
Real monsters.
But what about the shots with his eyes? Leave those in as a red herring.
Also, like they had this whole thing on like the kid like went and tore up his dad's grave because obviously he thought the dad was alive and
you gotta go check out the body.
But like they didn't show us, and it was just like, okay, they just like, oh look, someone tore up the grave, and you're like, the kid's like, I did that, and you're like, okay, that's a little weird.
Kid's like, crazy. Wonder why that happened.
No, he didn't even say wonder. He said I did it.
Yeah,
and also
I'm not a very good gardener.
As a stepmother who hates her child, I feel like if you have a knife missing and you're suspecting your child, don't just like get drunk and fall asleep, you know? Find the fucking knife.
Yeah, also, and like, was this in the middle of Great Britain summer? Because like, why was he not at school? Sure, his dad's dead,
you idiot. They give you some time off.
Get over it.
They're like, and listen, your dad's dead, but you have a reading assignment.
Your dad's dead.
What's the book? Lord of the Flies.
And he's like, oh, I love that. Isn't his dad dead?
You don't even know in Lord of the Flies that their dad's dead. They just kill that one guy off. Spoilers for Lord of the Flies, a book that came out in like 1972.
They should be reading Sleepy Hollow, where Mazbeth's dad is dead. That way he can relate to it. Single tear.
When did Lord of the Flies come out?
I don't know, Marshall. I really
1954.
Anybody else dizzy like all the time?
More and more.
Dude, I'm just getting old. I think I threw up my back.
I thought you said I threw up.
Oh my god. If we keep doing this podcast for like another 10, 15 years, the amount of bitching we're gonna do about our failing
Hey,
bodies.
freaking hate. No, we're gonna get replaced by our children. Well, Marshall's child and then the two kids that we kidnap and force to do it.
Marshall's child, my homunculus.
My homunculus.
And just still me.
Dude, Mass and I have been watching Full Metal Alchemist, and she's all
Nice.
Brotherhood specifically. And half the time when one of them fucking homunculus shows up on the screen, she's like, "Oh, fuck that guy." Then another time something happens, and then she goes, "Is this when they're gonna say it?" Full Metal Alchemist.
Speaking of Full Metal Alchemist, I give
Yeah, that's fair.
Daddy's Head.
Ducky head.
No, I'm gonna stick with a 5 out of 10 because I think if you turned on the last half hour with some
So, no
friends,
head?
you'd have a good time. But
Like, I see where you're going, but I'm gonna give it a 4.2. You know what? 4.2110022.
Let's go. More points.
I don't think that's accurate.
Trace, what are you giving it?
I think I'm also gonna sit at a 5 because I was gonna give it lower, and then Jobe convinced me that I should give it a little higher because he's right. It will help my average.
I never said that.
Well,
Yeah,
that
but I can read between the lines.
leaves it at a 4.74, which is not.
It's not. No,
It's still Power
no,
Rangers.
It's always gonna be Power Rangers.
Dude, until Joe,
Power Rangers.
dude, until we do the Rescue Heroes movie, and then it's gonna be like a
Dude,
I don't know.
9.
That's. I don't know if it's a 9, but it's not.
Next week we have a Jobe pick. We have Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee film. Ooh, little martial arts action. Be like
Do you want
water
to say
and all
something on
that
behalf
fun
of
jazz.
dogs again?
Follow us
That's my
at Film
pizza.
Blast Pod on Instagram,
But where can they reach us?
Spotify,
Freya said
TikTok,
lovingly.
YouTube, anywhere you watch
Maria's really getting in
podcasts.
there, isn't she?
You have a great night, and we will see you back here next week. Bye now. Everyone say bye.